They had killed up to 100,000 people, including 2/3 of those at least being civilians, 20,000 plus children, and we had destroyed 70% of the country where these terrorists came from.
Piers Morgan was just on Trigonometry talking about Israel, Palestine, Gaza. This is the first time I've ever seen Piers Morgan on Trigonometry. Piers has had quite an evolution since the 7th of October on his platform with his stance, his opinions. I really encourage you to watch the rest of this video. This is him in a different setting. He's on the other side of the table, if you will. And let's talk about it after.
Bands of foreign terrorists from an identifiable nearby location had invaded our country, killed over 1,000 people, wounded over 7,000, had dragged off women and grandparents and babies and held them in cages over the border. Would you not be demanding that Keir Starmer or whoever is the prime minister at that time do everything possible to get those people back, to destroy the people who did this? Wouldn't you?
Sure. And then when, 2 years later, nearly, they hadn't got the hostages back. They had killed up to 100,000 people, including 2/3 of those at least being civilians, 20,000 plus children, and we had destroyed 70% of the country where these terrorists came from. Right? What do you think the British people would have responded with?
I don't know.
Remember, we attacked Afghanistan. We know how the British people responded. They didn't like it. They didn't like Iraq, right? The British people do not respond to what they think is unfairness.
Americans liked Afghanistan. They had no problem. They did.
Not so much anymore.
They were, of course, 20 years later.
Right.
My point is, when you are in that situation...
You can whip your people into thinking anything.
Well, I don't think Afghanistan people... I don't necessarily think it was it was done in the right way. I'm just saying... when you are attacked in the way that America was attacked on 9/11,
it's a perfectly reasonable question. I think
we would have been okay with it.
I don't think 2 years later the British public would be remotely happy with what is happening. I really don't.
I
really don't. And I do buy into the explanation that some Israelis have put to me that the country is still in trauma. And that when people are feeling traumatized, they can often react in an irrational way to how they would normally. So
that's what I'm saying.
I do think what you're seeing is a massively over. How would you best categorize it? I don't want to offend people's sensibilities about the way I term this. I just think the reaction is massively disproportionate and it's fueled by rage and revenge. And I think that has played into the deliberate Hamas trap, which is this is what they wanted Israel to do.
It's counterproductive too.
I think ultimately it's been counterproductive. Whether you support their right to do it, the right to continue doing it or not, no one can argue that it's worked.
The thing is of course this is what Hamas to do. They wanted Israel to come in and eradicate the Gaza Strip and deal with the repercussions of the international community pointing their fingers for eradicating the Gaza Strip, because they know that the trauma, the deep trauma that they caused on the 7th of October, by prying at every possible chemical inside of our heart and our body, everything, by plucking every sensitive cord, every possible one that you can imagine, everything. It's a nightmare that ChatGPT could create for you. ChatGPT could create the nightmare that they did, and they know how sensitive Israelis are to anything like that, especially when it comes to terror. And the reason is because they're good people. Israelis are good people. They're good human beings. They're raised with good values. They ask value-based questions. They love thy neighbor. They love thy friend. Terrorists don't. Terrorists aren't good people. Terrorists don't always realize they're not good people, but they're not. It doesn't matter if they know it or not. They aren't good people. And if they know they aren't good people, they'll still do what they have to do to be a terrorist. So you can't really tee up any other scenario, whether it's in Britain, whether it's in America, Canada, where the same thing happens, and expect the country that experienced what happened to not have a sense of, revenge. Of course, you're going to have revenge when every possible code of conduct was violated. Every single one. There isn't anything left in the tank.
So if it hasn't worked, at some point you have to stop. Otherwise, you just carry on just killing people. and making your country more and more isolated and loathed. And I don't want that for the Israeli people.
Piers, would you describe this as being a genocide now?
Yeah, what I've said on that is certainly a lot of people like Smotrich talk in genocidal language. Certainly an unbelievable number of innocent people have been killed as they've gone after Hamas. Is it a genocide? We can't be sure until the international media are allowed in to see what's actually happened, is my argument. I'm not prepared to declare something a genocide based on what I see on TikTok. It is scandalous that the Israeli government continues to ban Western international journalists from going in. It's scandalous. It's unprecedented.
The interview gets very interesting right here, but what he just said is also very important. I'm going to say this is echoed to the pro-Palestinian movement, where if Piers, who has platformed many of the people who don't like Israel at this point, but if he is still willing to go on camera and say that he's not willing to just take what he sees for face value on TikTok to then call it a genocide, those are the words that the pro-Palestinian movement need to hear. Because he's right. He's right that he isn't allowed to form an actual complete finished opinion so far to claim something that's a genocide just because of his TikTok feed.
Never seen this. And what happened immediately after October the 7th? The Israeli government invited the world's media to the kibbutzes to see the mayhem.
But there is a slight difference because because when you invite people into the kibbutz, you're not putting journalists in physical danger.
They don't care about journalists' safety. They've already killed 250 plus Palestinian journalists in Gaza. There's no way anyone can argue to me that the Israeli government cares about the health and safety of journalists.
No, they don't care about the health and safety. They don't want to be blamed for them being killed. Ukraine doesn't allow journalists.
Well, they don't care about being blamed for killing 250 Palestinian journalists. So
but that's different. They're already there.
Well, it's fine, but there's no other war zone where you've had a complete blanket ban.
In Ukraine, you can't go on the front line if you're a journalist. Front line. And all of Gaza is a front line.
Well,
it is.
It's not.
It is.
Of course it isn't.
What do you mean?
All of Gaza is not a front line.
It's a tiny area.
Unless you pretend it's a front line.
Tell me more. Maybe I'm misinformed.
I'll tell you what. No, you're not misinformed. But I think that all the war correspondents I've talked to say this is unprecedented, right? They all say that there's only one reason the Israeli government doesn't want journalists into Gaza, because it doesn't want the world to see what it's been doing.
That's kind of,
there's one way to prove it wrong.
But hold on, Piers. But the world is seeing what's happening in Gaza. Isn't exactly the way that you said. Everyone's got a camera phone now.
They have, but that to me is not easily verified.
Every day, if you want to know what's happening in Gaza, there's no shortage of videos.
No, you can see what people are claiming is happening. You can't be sure about the veracity of this stuff.
Yeah.
So you need proper international journalists with great experience of war zones to go in and do their jobs. It will be the job of their own employers to decide about the risk assessment. They'll go with their own security teams, everything else. The idea the only journalists allowed in are pro-Israeli government journalists who go embedded with the IDF for a few hours and say, nothing to see here, Gov, is ridiculous.
Toda rabba, which means thank you so much for all of the people on Buy Me a Coffee or PayPal who choose to financially contribute to this channel. I don't think you guys understand, but without your help, we can't grow. And of course, to the Barakniks, the other Barak community, thank you so much for all of your unconditional support. Ani ohev otchem. I love you. Let's get back to the video.
Nothing to hide. Let them in. Let them do their job.
Do you not think that they are terrified of the idea that, a member of CNN gets killed and then suddenly they've lost even more?
Rat's shit.
No, I don't think they care about the journalists necessarily. I think they care about the PR.
More journalists have been killed in
the PR
Gaza, more Palestinians than any other war in modern times.
I hear you. But those are Palestinian people who are already there. They're not going to be...
They're journalists.
Right. You're not hearing me. Just answer my... I'm not trying to argue with you for the sake of arguing. I'm genuinely interested in your perspective. Do you not think that what Israel really cares about is the potential PR disaster that happens, if a member of CNN or the Daily Mirror or whoever gets killed in an airstrike because they happen to be standing next to something, or, as is also, I think you'd agree, likely, Hamas orchestrates some kind of event where that journalist is killed, and that is a PR disaster for Israel, and that's why they don't want journalists.
No, I don't.
Why not?
I just don't think that's remotely...
Do you not think that's a rational explanation?
No, for the simple reason they've already killed 250 Palestinian journalists. They don't care about journalists. They just don't want journalists.
But that's not a PR disaster.
They don't want the journalists to see what they're doing. So the big question then becomes, why? Why doesn't Netanyahu want journalists in Gaza to verify all these stories of starving Palestinians stampeding for fragments of food and getting shot dead on a daily basis. 1,000 plus now, according to almost every official body, have been killed in these food lines, right? And the belief is it's the IDF killing them. Well, there's one way to verify this. Let the journalists go and investigate and do their job. I think we're going to uncover, in answer to your point, I think we're going to uncover a lot of war crimes at the end of this, which will be a stain that Israel, because of its government's actions, may find extremely hard to ever wash away.
I'm really curious. I don't normally do this on my videos. I would love to open up the comment section to piggyback off of what Piers is saying right now. I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think about what he said. If at the end of all this, and when the clouds clear and the dust settles, if there's just going to be an incredible amount of war crimes that are found, that were committed by Benjamin Netanyahu, members in the government, the IDF, and that it is going to stain Israel. I don't think so. I think that there's a combination. By the way, the far right members of the government inside of Israel are not people that I talk about a lot on my platform. Because I don't like government. I don't like politics. I don't like a lot of the things that they say because it stains me. These radicals stain people who aren't radicals. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. Radicals stain people. This is why most people aren't radicals, because most people don't fit into a category where they have such a radical opinion about something that most other people probably have a hard time agreeing with. I don't agree with radicals on the left. I don't agree with radicals on the right. I don't agree with radical Muslims. I don't agree with radical Jews. But I want to know what you think. Please, this is going to be a really interesting test. Let me know in the comment section what you think. The links in the description to this video are there to be able to support this channel financially. Every single dollar helps. I say it all the time. We are expanding this work globally. We are reaching more people across the world. We need more nuance. We need more people. We need more rational thinkers. We are getting there. We're growing. Please take a second out of your day just to be able to contribute to help. Share this video, share this channel, and here is a message from me. Here are 4 ways you can help us grow if you believe in our mission. On Buy Me a Coffee and PayPal, you can directly contribute to helping this message grow and reach more people across the world. If you want to join the inner circle, join our Patreon with different tiers, and of course, our Discord community, which is free with people from all across the world. The links to every single one are in the description. And last but not least, to the other Brock community, I love you. Ani ohev otchem. I'll see you guys next time.